You are welcome to Sergio Math class. If you haven't subscribed to the page, please subscribe to the page, like the page, leave a comment, and then share with your friends. And if you are a math teacher and you find this page useful, you can also recommend it to your teachers, to your students. If you are a teacher and you find this page useful, you can recommend it to your student. And even though you can also recommend it to your fellow teachers to also visit the page and also recommend it to their student. Now we are going to learn something about correlation. By the end of today's tutorial, you will understand how correlation behaves, the relationship between two variables. When you say correlation, correlation is what? The interrelationship between two variables. And these two variables are the dependent variable and what? Independent variable. Now, let's look at something. Let's use a number line to represent or do some small analysis about how correlation behaves. Now, this is our number line. We have -1 here. We have negative 0.5. We have 0. We have 0.5. And we have positive 1. Now, let's interpret it in terms of the interrelationship between two variables. Now, the first one is saying that if the correlation coefficient is -1, then it means that the correlation between the two variables is perfectly negative correlation. So after calculating, you will get the next video will be on that. After calculating the coefficients of the correlation and you get the answer to be -1, then it means that the correlation between the two variables is what? Perfectly negative correlation. Perfectly negative correlation. Now let's look at the second one. Another rule is also saying that when you calculate the correlation coefficient and the range is between -0.9 to -0.5, from in between -0.9 and -0.5, if your correlation coefficient is within this range, then it means that the correlation between the two variables is highly negative correlation. It means that when you get -0.9, -0.8, -0.7, -0.6, and -0.5, when you get any of these figures, then the relationship or the correlation between the two variables is what? Highly negative. Now let's look at the another one. Another one is saying that from -0.4 to -0.1, if you get any number from -0.4 to -0.1, then it means that the correlation between the two variables is what? Low negative correlation. Low negative correlation. This implies that when you get -0.4, -0.3, -0.2, and -0.1, then it means the interrelationship between the two variables would have low negative correlation. Let's look at another rule. Another rule is also saying that when the coefficient is 0, then there is no correlation. There is no correlation. There is no correlation. So you could see that when it is -1, it means the correlation is perfectly negative correlation. If it is between 0.9 to 0.5, negative 0.5, then the correlation is highly negative correlation. But between when it is negative 0.4 to negative 0.1, then it is what low what negative correlation. And when it's 0, it means there is no correlation. Now let's look at the positive aspect. At the positive aspect, it is also saying that from positive 0.1 to positive 0.4 means the correlation between the variables is low positive correlation. Is low positive correlation. Now let's look at from 0.5 to 0.92. It follows the same trend as negative, so let's look at it. The other rule is also saying that from 0.5 to 0.9 means the correlation is highly positive. It's highly positive. Now let's look at the last one. Now the last one is saying that when it is 1, that is positive 1, it means the correlation is perfectly positive. Perfectly positive. Thank you for watching, and thanks for your time. And I'm reminding you, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the page, like the page, comment, and share with your friends. And if you are a math teacher and you find this page useful, you can recommend it to your student. Thank you. But don't forget that Sergio Math class is saying your source to understand and master mathematics. That is why we take our time and deal with it systematically so that you will understand. Thank you.